36 years.
3 beloved isles.
1 beloved station, Radio Cayman.
The voice.
The heart.
The soul of the Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And giversplanet.com, Cayman's online platform for fundraising and charitable donations.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the Record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. So fair. Today is Monday, the 9th day of May 2022, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. Hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable weekend. Those of you who are mothers, we hope and we trust that you had an enjoyable Mother's Day, that you were treated like royalty. And also I should mention those fathers who sometimes, or some of you, who have to function in the dual role of both mother and father. We want to reach out to you as well. We know that Father's Day comes along, I think sometime in June, Ms. Susan, for Father's Day. But there are fathers out there who occupy the dual role of father and mother, and we want to say happy Father's/Mother's Day to you. Also, we don't want to leave you, out of the equation, at all. And want to give kudos to you for all that you do as well. For those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands today, whether you're a pedestrian or a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember that the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing as well. We're hearing of the passing, this unfortunate passing of another Caymanian icon, and I normally would not mention the name until I receive official confirmation, but I have received it from several reliable sources, so I will mention that we're hearing of the passing of Mr. A.J. Miller. A lot of people refer to him as A.J., and he has a very storied history in the Cayman Islands as well. Many firsts involving the fire service. Went off to sea at one point in time, returned to the Cayman Islands, very, very active in politics, active on statutory boards as well. So we want to extend our sincere condolences to the family of Mr. A.J. Miller. And on Wednesday, I will talk more about him and give you some facts about his involvement in the development of the Cayman Islands as well. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility, either here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and, by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Art Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. Beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting again this morning to take your calls. Those calls can be made by using our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And, of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. This morning, after the 8 o'clock news, we will have His Excellency Governor Martin Roper in the studio with us. And after that, we will also have we will also be discussing the National Day of Preparedness and talking about how we here in the Cayman Islands will be preparing for the upcoming hurricane season as well. So the governor at after the 8 o'clock news, which is usually around about 8:15, and then we will have Hazard Management Cayman will be with us later on talking about the Day of National Preparedness. Okay, so last week, the day that I couldn't walk and chew gum at the same time, I was trying to find this information. We had one of our callers who inquired about whether or not Cayman history is taught in our schools, and I may not have the full answer for that individual yet, but in looking at the Cayman Islands Education Law, now would be called the Cayman Islands Education Act of 2016, and when we look at Section 30 of that piece of legislation, actually Part 5 of the legislation, starting with Section 29, talks about curriculum and assessment of students. So Section 29 talks about the fact that the educational stages and general age ranges are early childhood care and education from birth to 4 years, primary school from primary education from 5 to 11 years, middle secondary 11 to 14, and I believe that has changed somewhat now because we no longer have middle schools. I believe there's a combination there. Correct me if I'm wrong. Upper secondary from 14 to 17 years, and tertiary post-compulsory 16 years of age and older. Then Section 30, subsection 1, speaks to the fact that the mandatory subjects for the primary and middle secondary education stages are as set out in the law. They are, in government schools, the curriculum shall be comprised of the following additional mandatory subjects. For the middle secondary education stage, a modern foreign language. and that is mandatory, right? So middle secondary education stage, a modern foreign language. For middle secondary and upper secondary education stages, work readiness, education, and personal, social, and moral education. It goes on to say that government schools shall deliver programs for optional subjects according to guidelines approved by the chief officer. So the middle, secondary, and upper school education stages, they have to deliver on work readiness, education, and personal, social, and moral education as well. So that is what I was able to find there. When I looked at other material, I wasn't able to find much in relation to, what the specific subjects, on this school curriculum as well. So if you're a former teacher and you're out there, or even a current teacher, and you know more about whether or not Caymanian history is taught in our schools, and whether or not it is mandatory, whether or not it is optional, one of those subjects that you can choose as an optional subject, please let us know, because there are individuals out there who are curious to know, and we hear statements being made all of the time. Some may be informed, some may not be informed, so it is actually important to get it correct, to get it right, and then once we know, then we can certainly talk more about it and expand on the subject as well. But as it stands now, the education law, right, section 30, subsections 1 and 2, mandatory subjects for the primary and middle secondary education stages set out in the law. For government schools, the curriculum should be comprised of the following additional mandatory subjects for middle secondary education stages. Mandatory subject is a modern foreign language. For middle secondary and upper secondary education stages, work readiness, education, personal, social, and moral education as well. And I wonder, when they talk about the fact a modern foreign language, I guess that does not include Latin. And in my day at school, Latin was taught. And Latin is so important because so many words that we speak today, words that we exchange, have their root in the Latin language. And of course, if you are a law student, that becomes even more important. So while Latin was referred to as the dead language, I believe it can still keep people alive as far as their vocabulary is concerned. But I doubt whether or not Latin is considered one of those modern languages. Time for us to take a commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
The 1980s offered a decade of monumental progress as the Cayman Islands built upon its previous few decades of prosperity. In 1981, Northwood Prison was opened, followed by the Law School in 1982. Also in 1982, the Education Department held the first National Children's Festival of the Arts, and the islands celebrated the 150th anniversary of parliamentary government. In 1983, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II visited, being the first by a reigning monarch. The turtle farm was also purchased from government, and the first phase of the F.J. Harquail Cultural Center opened. In official business, the Water Authority law came into effect, and the CI Audit Office was established. In 1984, the Cayman National Cultural Foundation law was passed, and Britannia, Cayman's first golf course, was opened.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
Every day in the Cayman Islands, nonprofits and their volunteers work tirelessly, improving our communities and the lives of the people within them.
With GiversPlanet.com, you can make a difference by supporting a fundraising effort or starting your own. Givers Planet provides an online solution to conveniently raise money for your worthy cause. Whether you are fundraising for medical needs, education, animal welfare, youth programs, religious missions, school PTA efforts, or a nonprofit.
Simply create your fundraiser at GiversPlanet.com and spread the word to your local and international supporters so that they can visit and make a secure online donation. Start fundraising online today with GiversPlanet.com.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now, reach wow. You say you need some money, JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash. Or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have about 8 minutes before we go to our 8 o'clock news. Then after the 8 o'clock news, we will have His Excellency, the Governor, Mr. Martin Roper, in the studio with us. Meanwhile, I'd like to share more information with you. We talk about our children being the future of these islands. We hear, and we've heard Dr. Macfield talk about our courtrooms in the Cayman Islands, and sometimes when those persons who are in our court system are usually young, some from broken families, some with legal representation, some without legal representation. And I know that here in the Cayman Islands, we have several agencies that are available looking out for the welfare of our children, of minors. There's an article in the Bermuda newspaper, and it talks about dozens of people in litigation guardian training. You've heard Dr. Steve Macfield and also Ms. Teresa Pitcairn speak about their past efforts to set up some sort of entity, have government establish some sort of entity with those persons who may be in legal training, doing their articles, whatever, to assist in providing advocacy, legal, for those persons who do not have it or who are unable to afford it, even though legal aid is aptly provided in the Cayman Islands and well regulated and well administered as well. But it seems as if there was a collaboration between the FCO and the Bermuda. And I'll read it to you. It says, dozens of persons took part in training to help develop the island system of independent court advocates for children. The Minister for Social Development and Seniors said last week. She added that there was an overwhelming response to a call for expressions of interest for new litigation guardians. She told the Bermuda House of Assembly that she was delighted to report that from February 19th to the 24th, 2022, over 65 Bermudans took part in litigation guardians training sessions hosted by the Ministry of Social Development and seniors in collaboration with the Office of the Deputy Governor and the United Kingdom Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office. She's quoted as saying that training was conducted utilizing a Made for Bermuda manual developed for the current and potential litigation guardians. She's quoted as saying that the week-long intensive training was conducted by the UK FCDO consultant Mr. Anthony Douglas, CBE, former Chief Executive of England's Children and Family Court Advisory and Support Services, better known as CAFCAS. CAFCAS is a United Kingdom Kwango that represents children in the family court. Goes on to say it should be highlighted that the UK FCDO has formally provided their continued support to building a sound, fiscally prudent litigation guardian program in the country. She added that the people who took part in the training included employees of the Department of Child and Family Services, Bar Association members, judges, and magistrates, as well as current and prospective panel members. She's also quoted as saying, "These sessions have undoubtedly strengthened the capacity for those who attend to effectively and compassionately deal with the complex needs of our children in today's society, especially children who face challenging circumstances and who may have experienced significant trauma." She has also said that she was pleased to announce that the ministry received an overwhelming response in its expression of interest call for new litigation guardian panel members. It says, following the application process and completion of the training program, that she has selected a total of 7 individuals to be appointed to the litigation guardian panel for the year, pending the necessary vetting protocols. House heard that a steering committee will be set up to make sure that the system is embedded into the family court in line with international standards. She's also said that before that she wanted to applaud and express her sincere gratitude to the hardworking government employees under the Department of Child and Family Services. So the point that I'm bringing out there is that in collaboration with the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Officer, they had an expert go down to Bermuda. They put out expressions of interest for persons who were prepared to join and to train as well. Now, here in the Cayman Islands, we have heard similar expressions of interest from the governor's office here in relation to service on various boards, those entities that have been established in our constitution to help to enhance our democracy, and that is something that when we have the governor in the studio with us, we will talk to him about that, ask him about the success that is achieving. We see in the British Virgin Islands, for instance, one of the accusations there had to do with the political selection of members to various statutory boards. And I do believe that in the BVI, it is quite different to the extent that the chair of some of these boards are paid handsomely. And it is almost like full employment for them, which certainly makes it more, what should I say, tempting for politicians to want to appoint their supporters to those boards, because from a financial standpoint, it is quite lucrative as well. But we will talk with the governor, about his call and whether or not we are likely to see more of that from other ministries as well, to ensure that some of the politics is taken out of the appointment of members of boards as well. Folks, it's the top of the hour, the 8 o'clock news. When we return, we will have the governor in the studio with us, so please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
The 8 a.m. a.m. News is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With a look at Radio Cayman's 8 o'clock morning news, I'm Dion Anglin. A special celebration for those earning its certificate and badge of honor. More from CIGTV's Simon Boxall.
Dozens of people, many of them civil servants, were recognized along with others from non-government agencies and statutory authorities with a Cayman Islands Certificate and Badge of Honor for their outstanding work and service to the community. It all happened on Thursday evening. The Deputy Governor, the Honourable Frans Manderson, thanked His Excellency the Governor, Mr. Martin Roper, for making it all happen. While Governor Roper said he was delighted to be able to recognize the contribution of each and every one of the recipients.
Governor, thank you very much. It is, for me as head of the civil service, for me as a Caymanian, to see you, sir, recognizing so many of our people for going out far beyond the call of duty to perform the excellent work that they did before the pandemic, during the pandemic, people that were behind the scenes, but made some really great things happen.
And I'm therefore delighted this evening to be able to recognize people who are a shining example of service, of commitment, of integrity, of selflessness, and of sacrifice. And on behalf of myself and the Honourable Premier and all people here this evening, I want to thank you for all that you have done, and your contribution is hugely appreciated.
Premier the Honourable Wayne Panton was on hand to assist in giving out the award to each of the recipients who were named in this year's honours list. You can watch the entire event on the Cayman Islands Government YouTube channel on demand.
In other local news,
assess your feelings. Is it making you feel good? Do you like your feelings?
students who attend the Theoline McCoy Primary School learned all about mental health through activities designed to help them be their best selves last Thursday. School officials organized the day to help prepare their students in addressing issues that may affect their mental health. Teacher Shauna May Bailey Henry.
In order for us to function effectively, we need to ensure that our emotional, psychological, and social well-being is intact, and that we can relate to others, we can deal with stress, we can react to persons appropriately.
More than 200 students took part in the activities, ranging from singing and dancing to small interactive workshops.
I am having a lot of fun, and it's getting me to be a lot more pumped up and happy to be here. You know, we've just been enjoying the moments because it's helping us take our minds off of all the stress and schoolwork that we have been going through. And we have tests next month, and this day would actually help us a lot to be stress-free.
Learning more things about mental health, like growing plants, meditating, can really help with their mental life as a kid, adult, or even older.
School officials tell CIGTV the event was a big success. And now for a look at news from around the world, here's the BBC.
Hello, I'm Moira Alderson with the BBC News. President Putin has sought to justify the invasion of Ukraine on the grounds of national security. In a speech at the Victory Day parade in Moscow's Red Square, he said the attack had been the right decision, alleging that NATO had been exploring lands close to Russia and that Kyiv might get nuclear weapons. He told soldiers they were fighting for what their predecessors had during the Second World War. Steve Rosenberg was at the parade.
Well, now the heavy stuff's coming. The military hardware, you can feel Red Square rumbling as all of this goes past. But of course, parading your latest military hardware and marching thousands of troops across Red Square, that does not automatically make you an internationally respected superpower. The thing is that the Kremlin's decision to attack Ukraine has sparked global condemnation and sanctions and is turning Russia into a pariah.
Britain's Defence Secretary Ben Wallace has accused Russian generals, as well as President Putin, of culpability for what he called the illegal invasion of Ukraine. Mr. Wallace said the generals were inflicting needless suffering in the service of lowly gangsterism.
Since February, we have witnessed a systematic refusal to tell the truth up the chain of command, and it's playing out. Consider the fact alone that mobile crematorium trundle around the battlefields, and not just to hide Russian war crimes. They are for their own soldiers' corpses as well. Could you imagine what it must do to the morale of a private soldier to know that your commanders have so little faith in their campaign that you are followed around by these horrific contraptions?
And that's the end of Radio Cayman's 8 o'clock morning news. I'm Dion Anglin.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com. Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Town. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
It's in our name. Fried chicken, it's our thing. Others may try, but we have the original. We put the extra and extra crispy. And our secret in everyone's mouth. So if we want to make the best chicken sandwich, we just need to put our name on it. New Kentucky Chicken Sandwich. An abundant triple breaded filet, premium mayo and pickles, all in a buttered brioche bun. The best chicken sandwich had to be KFC.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 67%. The barometric pressure is 29.90 inches and rising. The wind is out of the southeast at 4 knots. Overnight low temperature was 79 degrees. Synopsis indicate light winds and seas will continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours in association with a surface trough just north of the Caribbean. Satellite images show a few low clouds over the Cayman area, which are drifting towards the northwest. Forecast for today and tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures today will be in the mid-80s and will fall to the mid-70s tonight. Winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet for today and tonight as well. Low tide will be this morning at 11:30, high tide this evening at 5:35, and a low tide again tonight at 11:16. The sun will set this evening at 6:50 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:53. And the outlook is calling for a slight increase in cloudiness and showers from Wednesday, as the trough is expected to move across the northwest Caribbean.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... Oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Brit K. Good like that.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at what's happening on the roads. Busy traffic coming off the Esther Tibbetts Highway. And traffic is busy coming off of Bobby Thompson Way and also off the Linford Pearson Highway of Agnes Way. Edward Street at downtown Georgetown not looking too bad as traffic flowing nicely. Into Georgetown on Shedden Road looking pretty good as traffic flowing at a good pace. As we look to Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, traffic is moderate in both directions. And traffic flowing at a good pace coming from the West Bay 4-way stop. And that's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report.
Subway makes it easy for you to stay on top of your health and wellness goals with our Fresh Fit menu options. Choose from 5 Fresh Fit Subway sandwiches with only 450 calories or less per 6-inch sub. Turkey breast, veggie, oven roasted chicken, Black Forest ham, sweet onion chicken teriyaki, or make your 6-inch Fresh Fit sub into a salad or wrap prepared with fresh vegetables. For a full menu and nutritional information, visit subway.ky. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
With Logic, you get more things you do want, like faster fiber internet, more TV, entertainment, and better customer service. And you get less of the things you don't want, like waiting, boredom, and disappointment. More of the good, less of the bad. It just makes sense. Or should I say, it's logical. See what I did there? Call us or go to logic.ky to find out how you could be getting way more of what's good.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach. This October, discover Peru with the Chamber Travel Club. Experience a trip of a lifetime to Machu Picchu, the lost city of the Incas and recognized as one of the wonders of the world. Explore an ancient Inca ruins, visit the Sacred Valley at the foothills of the Andes Mountains. Experience the Spanish and Incan cultures and civilizations. An information session about the trip will take place at the Chamber Conference Room in Governor Square on Tuesday, May 10th at 6 p.m. Register online at caymanchamber.ky or call 949-8090 for further details. This October, discover Peru with the Cayman Travel Club. It will be a trip of a lifetime.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record as promised. In the studio with me, none other than His Excellency, the Governor, Mr. Martin Roper. For those of you who may want to speak to the Governor, we will have the phone lines closed for now, but promise you that we will open the phone lines at some point in time if you have any questions or comments that you want to direct to the Governor as well. Meanwhile, what you can do, you can send me emails, and during the course of the discussion, I can interject those or inject those into the conversation as well. So you can email us at for the record, one word, for the record, at candw.ky, or WhatsApp us 925-3261. And that probably is going to be the better and the easier way to get your messages across as well. So without any further ado, Governor, good morning, sir. Welcome back to For the Record. It is a pleasure to have you. in the studio with us.
Well, good morning, OC. Thank you very much, and it's always a pleasure to come on your show. And I hope everyone has had a lovely weekend. There was a lot going on. I had an event at Botanic Park, which I do think the Children's Park is coming on incredibly well at the Botanic Park. It's great to see it. And then Batabono passed by Government House on Saturday, so I popped out to say hello to a few of the parades. They seem to be having a good time, but isn't it wonderful to see that back after sort of 2 years? It's obviously been a tough time for everybody. So good to see that back. So yeah, delighted to be on your show again.
It's certainly good. And while we're on that, we're going to go over to talk about the Jubilee celebrations. But the mere fact that now we're able to have larger crowds out, for activities like Batabono, speak to the success that we have had in terms of fighting and controlling COVID-19 in the Cayman Islands.
Yes, well. I absolutely agree. I think I've said this a number of times now, if you look internationally at everybody's response to COVID, we are undoubtedly a huge success story in terms of how this jurisdiction has managed COVID. And I think the vaccines which we got very early on have had a huge impact in protecting lives. I think they have saved many hundreds of people's lives in the Cayman Islands. And I would still say to people, we may be in danger of letting our guard down a bit because obviously we've been living with this for 2 years. We all just want to move on and leave it behind us. But I think please do go and get your booster vaccine if you haven't had a booster. And if you had your booster more than 6 months ago, anybody over 18, you can now get a fourth dose. As everyone knows, that Lizzie and I did catch COVID. Yes. I thought I'd got away with that after 2 years. And I think that was partly because we were coming to the end of that 6-month period, so our immunity was probably low. And what I'm told by our health experts is that even though taking the fourth dose or the booster can't stop you getting COVID, it can reduce your chances of getting COVID. So, and of course, what those vaccines and the boosters and the fourth dose absolutely still do is protect you from getting seriously ill or even worse, dying. And if you look at our hospital numbers, they continue to be incredibly low compared to the rest of the world. So my main message is, please, if you haven't had your booster, if you're 6 months after your booster, do go and get that fourth dose because it will protect you.
Certainly. Okay, so we'll switch gears now and talk about the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. We will be, of course, celebrating it here in the Cayman Islands as well, and we see the UK. I think they've kicked off their celebrations already.
They have, yes. and we have, of course, here. First of all, let me just say a huge thank you to Cabinet Secretary Sam Rose, who's leading a steering committee, a planning committee, which has been working incredibly hard on all of this. So for the Platinum Jubilee, Her Majesty the Queen, 70 years on the throne, which is a quite extraordinary achievement. So in Cayman, I've said this before as well, I believe there's no other overseas territory that is organising the quality and the quantity of events to mark this wonderful milestone. So we've already had a special sitting of Parliament on the 6th of February, which was the actual day of the 70 years on the throne. The commemorative exhibition at the National Museum. We also had the Queen's Jubilee Baton coming to Cayman in April for the Commonwealth Games. There's going to be a car show, which I think is on 16th of May. That's also linked to the Platinum Jubilee. On the 21st of May, there's a family afternoon tea at the National Gallery. I know that the Sailing Club are having a Platinum Jubilee Summer Gala that night as well. And then we move into the real key sort of set of events around the weekend, the 3rd to the 6th of June, when we've got an extra public holiday, which I know everybody was pleased about. Very popular decision. So that we will have a concert at Pedro St. James. We'll also light a beacon, which is being done all around Commonwealth countries, lighting a beacon in honour of Her Majesty. And then on the 3rd of June, very exciting, we will have the air show. And the air, I will let the planning committee put out more details very soon now, but I think the air show is going to be very good. Obviously, it's the first time we've been able to bring this back for 20 years. And I pay tribute to everybody involved in that. So it's coming together. It is going to happen, and we'll release some details as soon as possible. We've also got the Plant a Tree for the Jubilee initiative going on, and already a lot of trees have gone up across the islands, and huge thanks to the Premier's Ministry for leading that. We've then got on the 5th of June, there's a service of Thanksgiving at Elmsley. We've got a children's tea party on the 5th of June at the Botanic Park. On the 6th of June, we've got the Queen's birthday party outside Government House. We'll do the parade on the road, and that's followed by fireworks.
And that's going to be in the evening as opposed to the morning.
Exactly. We've switched it to, I think, 5 o'clock till about 8 o'clock, because it's a nice time to do it. It's a bit cooler, and then we can all see the fireworks, and we will have our platinum cake being served, because we did a competition to choose a platinum cake, and the winner of that competition will have her cake served at the Queen's birthday party. So lots and lots of things going on. I know there's another historical exhibition taking place at Parliament for the whole of June, and the Sister Islands are part of this as well. So we're going to have the first ever, I believe, Queen's birthday party in Brack. So I will go over there. The air show will also take place in the Brack, and I think that's on the the dates will come out, but it is over that weekend. So I really just wanted to say that there's a huge amount of activity to show. We can really show our respect and admiration for Her Majesty, who over 70 years has performed an incredible public service to people in the UK, the overseas territories, and many Commonwealth countries as well. So I'm very proud as Governor to see that quality and quantity of events to mark the Jubilee. And as I say, I don't think there's an overseas territory who will be doing more or will be doing it better than we are, which I think is wonderful. So thank you for giving me the chance to go over that. I know that the committee are coming out with some sort of materials, some flyers with all the various dates, so everyone can start planning what they want to take part in or what they don't want to take part in.
Yes. And we have always been, like you said, in the forefront in terms of celebrating the monarch. And I recall sharing with my audience here when in 1964, 65, I think it was, when she visited Jamaica.
Right.
We had a contingent that went from here to Jamaica to meet with her as well. As a matter of fact, some of them, Nurse Annie Bush was one who received her award from the Queen, honors award from the Queen in Jamaica as well. That's
No, that's fabulous. And we've had two visits here as well. So, and we had Prince Charles sort of it's amazing to think that's 3 years ago now. I don't know where the time has gone, really. The Botanic Park yesterday, I think I came across Peter the iguana, there's that iconic photograph of Prince Charles with Peter the iguana, which I think was a wonderful thing. So we have a lot of activities going on, and I'm particularly pleased that we've been able to bring the air show back. Grateful to the government for supporting that, and I hope that we're going to start. You have to start somewhere, so I think it will be relatively modest to start with, but over time it's going to get bigger and bigger, and I think it's a big thing for our tourism sector. So I hope that the air show can go from strength to strength and become an annual feature, because everyone tells me that they remember as a child going to the airport to watch it, and it was a huge thing in Cayman 20 years ago.
And one of the biggest participants in that, of course, would have been the U.S. military as well.
Yes.
I'm not sure how much involvement we will get this time around, but I know that people were quite eager to go and get an opportunity to go on board the aircraft, to have walking tours on board the aircraft.
That's right.
Huge, those Hercules.
I hope that we're working on. There will be civilian aircraft. We're working on a surprise, if we can. I won't want to say much more yet until it's absolutely pinned down. But I know that having military aircraft is really exciting for people. Of course, I tried very hard to get a military aircraft from the UK, but that weekend they're all doing something for Her Majesty herself. So the Red Arrows and the sort of parachutists. But I think I can promise you something really special and quite spectacular, and the details will come out fairly soon now. So I think it will be a wonderful weekend.
Okay, so we'll switch gears again. And, of course, we see many overseas territories, or I shouldn't say many, some overseas territories facing challenges.
Yeah.
We here in the Cayman Islands, we have our challenges as well. But I think that we can certainly credit our success due to the fact of the various structures that we have in place, the legal, constitutional structures that we have in place. And one that I mentioned in my closing comments before the 8 o'clock news had to do with representation on statutory bodies.
Yeah.
And we know here on Radio Cayman, your office has been running adverts in relation to inviting persons to send their applications in. Say what area you may be interested in. Give us, your bios. Tell us what your area of expertise in. Can you talk a little bit about that and the success of that and what it is intended to achieve?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I can. And you're referring obviously to the situation in the British Virgin Islands, which is obviously very serious and very worrying. And I think if people have had a chance to read the Commission of Inquiry report, then they'll understand that there are some incredibly serious issues being dealt with there. So we can come back to that if you wish to. But I mean, in terms of Cayman, I'm very clear that we do have a set of checks and balances in place which are established and are functioning, and I think are an important part of our good governance. Of course, we're not perfect. Nobody is perfect. If you look at the UK at the moment, there are all sorts of challenges. No country is perfect, but you just have to continue to work at it. Yes. I think here we do have. And the Auditor General, an independent Auditor General, I think she's done an excellent job for our jurisdiction in the time that she's been with us. And we have an Ombudsman office which is fully independent, and those two officers are appointed through me and through my office. And then we have our independent commissions, and that was the advert that you saw. Yes, so the Human Rights Commission, the Judicial and Legal Services Commission, the Constitutional Commission, the Civil Service Appeals, the Anti-Corruption Commission, and the Standards in Public Life Commission. So all of those provide a check and balance and are a key part of our good governance. And the appointments process runs through my office, and for some of them I do take a recommendation from the Premier, a recommendation from the Leader of the Opposition, but it's designed so that they are 100% independent, and they're independent from me as well. I don't control or have any say in what they do in terms of the substance. I appoint them, and I have a responsibility for the appointments and a responsibility to ensure they have the support that they need through our Commission Secretariat, who do a very good job. And Marilyn Connolly's recently taken over that and is doing an extremely good job there. So those commissions have a really important function. Now, I think where we could perhaps look to enhance our good governance is the other sets of commissions, which the political arm appoints the people to go on there. And I was struck myself when I read the BVI Commission of Inquiry report, because it did make some quite interesting recommendations about how you do the appointments process for the other set of boards and committees that we rely on in our small jurisdiction to run the territory. And I do thank everyone who plays a role on those boards, because they're giving up their time voluntarily. But maybe when we look at how we appoint people to those boards, who is going on them, the process, the transparency, there probably is something that we could have a look at there. And I know that the Premier and the Cabinet Secretary are keen to have a look at what's in the Commission of Inquiry report to see whether there's anything coming out of that we can learn from. We've got a lot of positives, and I've already said to my colleagues in BVI and in London that Cayman does have a lot of good governance, a lot of best practice. We can share that, and we don't need to reinvent the wheel. You can look at what we're doing, what other overseas territories are doing. So it's we can provide some best practice, but we'd also see where we can learn. Where can we do more? Where can we improve? And I think that's a constant process.
Okay, this is a good juncture for us to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. The conversation with His Excellency Governor Roper will continue after this short commercial break.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vamt Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vamt Motors, Walkers Road.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, His Excellency the Governor, Mr. Martin Roper. We have spoken about the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations here in the Cayman Islands, in the UK as well. And of course, the Governor's pointed out celebrations will take place in the sister islands in Cayman Brac also. We have also spoken about the appointment to some of the commissions, members of the commissions that are named in our Constitution to help to support democracy, and those that fall under the Governor's remit. And like he's pointed out, he's only involved in the appointment process and certainly does not give directions to the boards themselves. That's all worked out in terms of legislation. He has spoken also about the situation in the British Virgin Islands and that Commission of Inquiry report. And I would say, Governor, you would encourage everyone to read it, because on Friday I said, we should show an interest in this.
Yeah.
We should opine about it, but because who knows? One of these days, we hope not, but we could fall into such a situation. So it is important for us to be aware of what's taking place. Now, also, if we don't know what's going to happen at the end of the day in the BVI, the minister said, she will go and talk. I actually went on the UK Parliament's website,
right,
under the Foreign Affairs Committee, and I didn't find much there that has taken place over the weekend, but I'm sure that at some point in time it will be discussed in the UK Parliament. And if, for instance, some recommendation was made to for the other overseas territories to collaborate, just like how we have sent police officers to other jurisdictions when there's an investigation that is so locally connected that they feel outside help could assist. If a recommendation were made for outside assistance to go to the BVI to help them in some areas, would we be prepared in the Cayman Islands to do that if we were requested?
Absolutely, OC. And I think I've already had people come to me and say, we do have experience to share, and that they would like to be able to, even members of our commissions, our independent commissions who have studied these issues. I think the Constitutional Commission particularly has a really important role here and could provide a lot of advice. So we absolutely have something to share. I've already alerted London to that possibility and suggested that they should look at it. I mean, Cayman to me feels a million miles away from the things that have been happening in the British Virgin Isles. And let me just say that the Cayman over the last certainly 8 or 9 years has developed a very strong reputation with the UK in terms of its good governance, but also in terms of how it's responsibly managed its budgets, fiscal policies. So, obviously what's happened in the BVI is very serious. But if you read the Commission of Inquiry report, it's 800 pages long. So I don't suggest you read it all at once. But there's a very good executive summary. which is a shortened version of the key points. And the UK faces a very difficult decision now. I mean, clearly it is a very difficult step, and it's very incredibly rare. I think it's happened twice before in the Turks and Caicos, but it hasn't happened anywhere else. Right. So the UK would never take such a decision lightly. But the key judgment it has to make is can the depth and scale of the corruption and the problems in BVI be resolved by the current systems, which obviously the elected leaders in BVI want that to stay the same, or is that simply incapable of being able to put in place the procedures, the processes, the checks and balances to enable a government to do what we believe it should do, which is the very best for the people of the British Virgin Islands. So it is a difficult decision the UK faces. There's no decision yet, but I expect that will come in the days that follow. But I do think that if you look at some of the things that were going on in BVI, we should take note of it, and it should make us all here value the good governance that we've got and do even more to maintain that. So I think I always talk about the separation of powers in our constitution. So the civil service and the public service appointments are separate from the elected political arm, and that's for a reason, because if you mix them and if you have politicians interfering blatantly in public service appointments, which is clearly what has happened in the British Virgin Islands with quite disastrous results. If we allow that here to get out of hand, that's really dangerous for our good governance. And Cayman, I think, is better than that and understands that it's important to maintain that separation of powers. So I think that's an important lesson that we can take from it, and it should make us all redouble our efforts to make sure that we respect that separation of powers, that we respect the fact that the public service appointments come under the governor, and that's done so that we can have a merit-based system which is very transparent, and that we're not having people interfering to try and put their particular friends or their particular cronies. Let's use the word. That's what it is. It's cronyism. And if politicians seek to put their people they want in public service positions, then who are they loyal to? Are they loyal to the people, or are they loyal to a specific individual? And that's where it starts to get really quite dangerous. So I urge everybody to maintain that separation of powers and respect it in our constitution.
And without going into further details in terms of the Cayman Islands, we saw a sort of like come to the water's edge in relation to that, and it was something that you addressed quickly, something that the Premier also addressed fairly quickly. It was nipped in the bud, and I think we're all better because of it, and everyone now understands what their role is and what their role isn't at the same time.
I think that's right, and I really thank the Premier for dealing with that issue. It was important. I think, unfortunately, the public perception hasn't quite matched the reality of what happened. I think we're talking about the situation with Minister Bush.
Yes.
And there was an issue around the fire officer, the chief fire officer, and some sort of an allowance for coaching deputies and a trip to the UK. But actually, the most serious issue was actually the trying to put somebody from the fire service into the port. I mean, that was a blatant example of interference in the running of the port, and that goes to that issue I was mentioning about the separation of powers. So I do think, we look at what's been happening in BVI. It's a really important salutary lesson on where this goes if you don't actually respect the boundaries, respect good governance, and respect the separation of powers. And I do thank the Premier for the action that he took.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can we talk a little bit about the Cuban situation, Cuban migratory situation in Cayman Islands? On the weekend, again, we saw where another small group arrived. And these small numbers, after a while, they start to impact us. We're getting into the hurricane season as well. We know we have a memorandum of understanding with the Cuban government. Is it working? Is it working effectively? Are the Cubans discharging their responsibilities and their end of the agreement as expeditiously as they should be?
I mean, it is a real concern. I recognise the community is concerned. There's certainly a sudden increase in numbers. I think we've had well over 100 in recent weeks, and of course we're heading into hurricane season. So we will need to make sure that we've got all our hurricane shelters available for our own community, and if we get a big influx, and that will challenge our system. I think that first thing I'd say is this is a devolved matter under the Constitution, so it is for the Cayman government to liaise with the Cuban authorities. There's a very good dialogue. I think it's initially done through the Cuban mission in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. We have an MOU. The Deputy Governor's Office and CBC are in the lead in making sure that works. But I think our systems seem to be a bit too slow, a bit too clunky. I think we need to be assessing the asylum applications of individuals who arrive quickly, and we need to balance obviously all of that against our international obligations and make sure we're following that closely. But I do think we need to be able to show that those that are coming here that don't have a legitimate claim can be returned quickly to Cuba, and obviously have a dialogue under the MOU with the Cubans about that. But it is a serious issue, and I know that CBC and the Deputy Governor's Office, the Deputy Premier, are sort of dealing with it very, very actively and trying to resolve it as quickly as possible. Okay,
Governor, we're going to take another commercial break. When we return, if we can talk a little bit about the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, the perception of crime in the Cayman Islands, and whether or not there's some who believe that, yes, the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, they have their hands on the pulse. They have their intelligence. They know where certain areas of activities are concentrated. They know who some of the actors are in it. And I believe that is demonstrated quite well in terms of when certain persons are arrested and are out of circulation, then you see things change. And that must speak volumes in terms of what they know as well. So when we return, we will have that discussion. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens. and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Every day in the Cayman Islands, nonprofits and their volunteers work tirelessly, improving our communities and the lives of the people within them.
With GiversPlanet.com, you can make a difference by supporting a fundraising effort or starting your own. Givers Planet provides an online solution to conveniently raise money for your worthy cause. Whether you are fundraising for medical needs, education, animal welfare, youth programs, religious missions, school PTA efforts, or a nonprofit.
Simply create your fundraiser at GiversPlanet.com and spread the word to your local and international supporters so that they can visit and make a secure online donation. Start fundraising online today with GiversPlanet.com.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vamt Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vamt Motors, Walkers Road.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, His Excellency Governor Martin Roper. Good news for you. What we're going to do is we're going to open up the phone lines. If you have any questions or comments, the governor will be here until 9, maybe 9:15. So if you do call in, we want to ensure that you're as brief as possible. But remember, you can email us at For the Record, one word, For the Record at candw.ky, or WhatsApp us 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note as well. I have an email here. I'll peruse this first, Governor, and meanwhile we can talk about the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service.
Sure. No, I mean, I agree with what you said very much, OC, that, you know, certainly in my time here, 3.5 years now as Governor, I've worked closely with the Police Commissioner and RSIPs, and you know, we have had some awful tragedies, some sort of terrible incidents, but my sense is that the police do quite quickly work out who is behind this, and they do manage to arrest those people, take them off the streets, and then proceed to prepare the case so that it can go to court. So I think the two sort of murders that we had, it's terrible. I know it's shocking for people that happens in our community, and the tragic murder of the former prison officer, Mr. Elliott, as well. So, but the police have taken the people responsible for those off our streets and are seeking to sort of build a case to prosecute them. So I think we have to take some comfort in that, and also still take a step back and think that even though we have these terrible incidents from time to time, in relative terms, we are still one of the safest places in the Caribbean, and we shouldn't lose sight of that. I know it's sometimes difficult when you see things happening, and things happen everywhere in the world. But as Governor, I am concerned, and I know there is a lack of trust in RSIPs in terms of people not being willing to come forward with information and give them information, and I know that they do find that a real challenge. I believe that this is not something you can change overnight, but I do give credit to the Police Commissioner and his senior team, because I think they have been trying to transform RCIPs to improve performance, to get the right individuals in the organisation. And, it's a tough job. Our police officers are putting their lives at danger, at risk to protect all of us. So we should give them huge respect for the role that they play to protect us, and we should accept that they are performing this incredibly important role for our community. But there's certainly more that needs to be done. I think the police commissioner has done a very good job in his time here, and he has been seeking to transform. I've been to lots of graduation ceremonies, and there's always lots of Caymanians coming into the police force. I think we've tried to shift that balance, which I think is important. Mm-hmm. That the police do reflect the community that they serve. I recognise the public trust issue is a difficult one, and we need to continue to try and work hard to shift that.
Okay, we have 2 callers, and we'll take those callers. Meanwhile, there is an email. The person wanted to know whether or not is it possible to encourage and inform local youth on how to join the UK military, and then they also wanted to know whether or not there is a public record kept of the number of Caymanians who have moved to the UK and elsewhere in recent years. Okay, so let's grab the first caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, O.C.
Good morning. How are you?
Yes, and good morning to His Excellency the Governor.
Good morning. Lovely to hear from you.
Nice to hear you on the radio too, sir. Just briefly, O.C., I just wondered if the governor would be so kind enough to shed some light on what's the government intentions with the police station up here. And I'll just hang up and listen to his comments.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Is that West Bay?
In Cayman Brac, the police station that they have now removed from and elsewhere, whether or not it's what the plans are, if it's going to be rebuilt or what.
Yeah, I have to be honest, I'm not fully up to date on what's happening with that, but I will certainly find out, and we can get back to the caller separately. But I know it's a big concern for people in the community, and I know that everyone is working very hard to find the best solution that we can. On the other 2 callers, or the 2 questions, OC, I mean, yes, people from Cayman and the others can join the UK military, and I think that's been made easier in the last year. So, because I think there was an issue about residence requirement, you had to be sort of resident in the UK to be able to apply. That I think has been removed to enable more people from our overseas terrorists to join. So yes, that is very possible. We also have our regiment, of course, and I would again recommend people who are interested in that to sort of sign up for our regiment, become reserve members of the regiment, because you will get a lot of very relevant training and expertise through that. And I do think that the regiment is slowly but surely winning hearts and minds in this community in terms of the value add it can provide if, heaven forbid, we are hit by a serious storm or worse. And they can bring new skills and bring new capabilities that we didn't have before. So feeding hundreds and hundreds of people in food kitchens, which can be set up across the islands, desalinating seawater. They can provide hundreds and hundreds of litres of water from a desalination plant. They can set up their own base, which is run on renewable energy. They don't need, they're self-sufficient. And they've got equipment to be able to clear roads quickly. It can be out there immediately. A storm has passed. So, just if you are interested, I would join the reservists. I think people love having a chance to give back to the community and support their community. So please do have a look at that if you're interested. But joining the UK Armed Forces is much easier than it was, which is very good. And the second question was
the number of Caymanians who have relocated to the UK.
No, I would love to know the answer to that question as well. I don't think we are able to collate it, because it's people can just go, so we don't collect that sort of data. It's actually quite difficult to collect it, but anecdotally there must be quite a significant number, because I know there are a lot of, not just our students, we have a a large number of Caymanian students in the UK. And I would continue to urge people to look at UK for their university education. It's far cheaper than going to the US or Canada. You benefit from home UK fees, the same fees as UK students, and also access to the loan system that UK students get. And I still say to anybody that we have some of the best universities in the world, and I think we can compare very, very favourably with universities anywhere, actually.
Okay, let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, RC. Good morning, Governor.
Good morning.
Billy Sinamba here. Good morning.
Good morning again. I think we had a chat the other day, didn't we?
Yes, we had a chat the other day, and so I've been tracing you, Governor. You can't get away from me, so. Now, two issues very quickly. The first one, there's been a report in Cayman Mile Road today raising the possibility that the Cayman representative in the UK may have been working illegally. I just want to hear whether there's what your comment is from your side, because the way I understand these issues, like the name would be cleared through Foreign Affairs here, probably through your office and into FCO. Do you have a comment on that? That's the first point. The second point is, now, this one relates to some personal matter I've dealt with you, but I don't want to get into the detail of it because the matter is coming up before the Court of Appeal. But I want to, on the 31st of August this year, but what I want to do is just ask you a question in relation to, you did say something about good governance, and you are so right in saying that the Cayman Islands is actually, there's a lot that other people can learn from the Cayman Islands in general. But there's one area where I think there's still need for improvement, and that's in the area of the Judicial and Legal Services Commission. As you know, the Judicial and Legal Services Commission has a duty to draw rules to ensure that people who complain against judges can have a structured investigation. These rules have never been drawn up since 2016. It is not your duty to draw them up. It is for the Judicial and Legal Services Commission. And I found this out the hard way because I ended up complaining to the Ombudsman, Human Rights Commission, the Royal Cayman Islands Police, to yourself, and to the Chief Justice. I haven't got a justice. Can you say, as the person responsible for good governance, can you say when we can expect these rules to be in place? We've been waiting 7 years.
Okay. Well, thank you for those questions. I mean, on the first one, obviously there was an approval process for the appointment of the Cayman Islands government representative in the UK. So the UK approved the appointment of Dr. Garcia to that role, and Dr. Garcia also went through UK immigration on her way through into the UK. She is a Caymanian. Now, if there has been an oversight in terms of having an actual passport, then obviously I would want that to be put right as quickly as possible. But the UK is aware of this, and as far as I'm aware, there's not. They're not overly concerned by this, but obviously if there has been an oversight, then that needs to be put right. Okay. On the second one, and thank you, and yes, you and I have corresponded about this issue, and I will certainly raise that matter that you have just outlined. I would just say that I obviously have worked closely with the Judicial and Legal Services Commission. I think it is an excellent commission. We have some people of extremely high standing and reputation on that body, and they do an extremely good job and an important job for our jurisdiction in terms of the sort of senior judicial appointments. But I will raise the issue that you have just outlined and find out what's happening on that.
Great. Now, there's a similar question here, and I think the leader of the opposition did respond to a similar question on Friday. This person wanted to know when can the public expect to see a code of conduct for parliamentarians approved in the Cayman Islands?
Well, that one's not a matter for me.
Exactly,
that is clearly a matter for the Premier, the Speaker, and members of Parliament. I understand that negotiations have got to a very advanced stage, and I understand that he's very close to being approved. And as Governor, obviously, I would welcome that being approved as soon as possible.
Okay. Now, very quickly also, Governor, and we're going to keep you on until 9:15. The response to the person about the Brack police station, some clarity there. While you have responsibility for the police, budgetary matters are dealt with by an elected member as well. That has been devolved. So, any plans in terms of building or shifting locations would be left with the ministry as opposed to with you?
Yes, that's not something that I get involved in directly, but obviously I have a right to sort of give my views and make sort of requests if I feel that that's important in terms of meeting my obligations for law and order and security under the Constitution. So, but obviously it has to be it's a collaborative issue, and it's the Office of the Premier which has the budgetary responsibility for our SIPs. So the Police Commissioner and his team, I'm sure, are in touch with the Ministry about that and trying to, if it is about requiring additional funding, then obviously there would have to be a discussion around that with the Ministry. But I would just say on our SIPs, I do think we have some challenges in terms of the accommodation that we have at the moment. I think the Georgetown police station, frankly, is in a very, very poor state, and we should have done something about that before now. I know that there's discussions underway, and I'm hopeful we'll be able to find a better and a sustainable solution for that one as well.
Okay. So we're going to hold you here, Governor, hostage until 9:15. We have a question. This one has to do with food security, and when we return from the headline news at 9 o'clock, I will put that question to you as well. Folks, please stay tuned. The conversation with His Excellency, the Governor, will continue after headline news.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom. Today's biggest news.
The Cayman Islands' last living 1959 vestryman and national hero Arlie James, or A.J. Miller of Boddentown, has passed away on Sunday night. Radio Cayman will have more as the story develops. Good morning, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, voting has closed in the Philippines after millions queued across the islands to choose their next president. The man tipped to win the presidency is Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., the son of the nation's former dictator. Opinion polls have suggested he may see a landslide victory, meaning the Marcos clan, ousted by a people's revolt 36 years ago, could reclaim power. And prosecutors in Egypt have ordered the detention of 13 teenage boys arrested on suspicion of harassing 2 female foreign tourists at the Giza pyramids. Egyptians expressed outrage on social media last week after a video showed a group of youths harassing the young woman at the archaeological site. A prosecution statement said the boys were between 13 and 15 years old. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have one caller on hold. If we do get another caller, we'll make that caller the last call because I want to give the governor an opportunity for some closing comments as well. So, Governor, meanwhile, this person wanted us to ask what responsibility you have in terms of food security, bearing in mind the impact of the Russian war on food, the problems with supply chains, the impact of COVID-19, the high probability of a major hurricane hitting the U.S. mainland. Is this part of the strategic preparation for hurricane season? And if you want to pass it on, we can say we have the people out there waiting to come on next to talk about that.
I think the wonderful Danny Coleman and team are waiting outside, so I think they can probably answer that. But I would just say that as usual, coming up to hurricane season, I've been having discussions with London about the support we can expect to get from them, and there is, as usual, a Royal Navy ship, Medway, will be out there to support all overseas territories and independent countries with 50 personnel on board, with supplies, and they also have capacities to be able to help repair runways, help get ports back up and running. So I think once you can do that and you can get aircraft in easily, then you can bring in imports quite quickly. But you raised, listener, you raised a lot of really important issues, which I think we're all very, very conscious of at the moment. It's a challenging global environment for a number of reasons: the cost of living, inflation, the sort of Ukraine-Russia crisis. So all of that is something that will be taken into account in terms of our preparedness for this coming season.
Thank you very much for that, Governor. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Governor.
Good morning. How are you?
Watering the pumpkin.
Okay.
Yes, sir. You spoke earlier, and it seemed to me that where your conversation was going is that you would welcome the presence of more local representation in the Royal Cayman Islands Police Services. Am I correct with that?
Yes, I think that is important, and yeah, I think we should want to see Caymanians represented across all areas of our jurisdiction. But yes, I think the police commissioner has been seeking to do that in recent sort of recruitment campaigns. But obviously these things take time.
Yes, sir. Well, fast tracking, as I understand it, from that old American educational system, I think a lot can be done there, and I don't think I need to explain that to anyone. Everybody knows what that is all about. I think if we could fast track the one or two applicants that we may get per annum from the local population, fast track them means, in my view, to support their academics if indeed it is seen that their academics are lacking. We can help them by fast tracking them. And it is no secret that we might not get the stellar A students and, university gig type person every time. But those that we get, if they are interested, if they have everything else in their toolkit for academics, a little math, a little English, a little look at science, a little look at the law, I think we here in the Cayman Islands should require of ourselves that we support our own much more than I think that we do. And if I'm speaking out of turn, if I'm wrong, I apologize, but it's just a feeling that I have on the outside looking in, and, we're not going to get the answers I want. So I have to make some assumptions, and my assumption is I don't think we're supporting the academics, because I don't think it's the physical, I don't think it's the capabilities. They may not yet have been exposed, and in life I hold that we cannot know what we do not know. And I also hold that, maybe we should be looking more to the high school to get those children coming out there that want to do much, that got the appetite, they have the energy, and they have the youth. Fast track, and that's across the board. For anything we want, we can find a way to fast track them.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller, for that.
Thank you.
We're going to grab the last caller and give you an opportunity to respond to both, and for your closing comments as well. So this will be our last caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, and I will be brief.
Good morning.
Your Excellency, this is Lorna Bush, and I'm just a fan, a huge fan. So I have to take every opportunity just to get to say hello to you.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Good hello to you as well.
There are a few things. I just want to absolutely endorse and agree with what you said earlier about trying to encourage our students to go to the United Kingdom for university. Having had the experience recently of taking one of my youngsters up there, I can tell you it is, it's a good education, but the services that are available and the way that it's presented, you don't have to beg for help. I was ever so impressed. From day one, you have various services reaching out, and this is all the services, including mental health support, reaching out to students and helping with, so I want to really encourage our people to do that. And there was a question also about how many Caymanians have left to go away to live. Well, I don't know the number, but I'm pretty sure there are quite a few. And many have gone to England in particular, but the UK overall. And from my own experience, if Caymanians, particularly older Caymanians, feel the need to leave home, I highly recommend going to the United Kingdom. It's a wonderful standard of life, and they take care of their older folks. I wish we could adopt some of the services that are offered there. For my years there, I was 100% happy. I came home just before COVID, and COVID has kind of changed all my plans. But even during that time, my daughter also had the opportunity. She was seconded by the Cayman Islands government and lived in a beautiful part of the southwest UK. And I was able to travel back and forth from the northeast to the southwest. We had beautiful times. Her young children were able to go to school there for a year and a half, an experience that left an indelible, positive impression, and they're looking forward to get back there to go to university. And finally, the gentleman that calls about the police station, I'm not quite sure what the issue is, but this I can tell you, that building was not fit for purpose for many, many years. I know when my uncle was the only policeman there, and that was back in the 50s, that building was already not great. Okay. So I'm not quite sure what the issue is, but if the government has to build a new one, I think that's absolutely justifiable.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Carla.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Thank you very much for those comments. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so Governor, we have the question in relation to recruitment within the police service, and then this other caller and your closing comments.
Yeah. All right. Well, certainly in terms of recruitment, I think I sort of set out the sort of the trend in recent years. Yes. Of course, we have to have. It's not something I get involved in directly. Quite rightly, we have a proper sort of merit-based, transparent process, and I think our laws already encourage us to make sure that we're giving every opportunity to Caymanians and helping Caymanians get employment in RSIPs and other areas. So,
and we have many Caymanian role models within the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service.
We do.
Well,
we absolutely do. Kurt Walton, there's doing a great job there, and there's Brad and others. So yeah, lots of role models. So and again, I salute the job that our police do in difficult circumstances. I'm conscious I'm eating into the time of hazard management out there.
We have about 2 minutes left.
2 minutes who I know have lots of important things to say as well. So no, I'd really just want to say thank you for giving me some time on the show. We started off with a detailed overview of the Platinum Jubilee celebrations, and we have a lot to look forward to over the coming weeks, culminating in that sort of fantastic weekend for the long weekend, 3rd to the 6th of June, with the air show and the Queen's birthday party. So many events. So I just hope people will find something in that weekend that they can also enjoy, and we can all sort of celebrate this incredible milestone by Her Majesty the Queen of 70 years on the throne. So thank you very much, and as ever, it's been a pleasure coming on.
Thanks for being here as well. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we will be talking about hurricane preparedness in the Cayman Islands, so please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly. This is extremely important to you and your welfare as well.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy. where we care about your health.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use your money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Stay clean, stay safe, hey man. Reflections sells gallons of sanitizer for only $25. Buy 2 clip-on sanitizers for just $5. Reflections has the best KN95 masks or reusable cloth masks, and you can get 2 for only $5. Blue surgical masks and face shields are available for children and adults, as well as 10 and 50 packs of black surgical masks. Volume discounts available at Reflections, Jose's Rubus, Reflections Hemp and Tobacco, all 5 Liquor for Less locations, and Food for Less, open 24 hours every day. Don't miss the Liquor for Less incredible priced better markdown. Hundreds of fine from $2.99. Cases of ice cold below wholesale prices. Save $10 off liters of absolute exclusively at Liquor for Less. Prices so low we can't say them on the radio.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vamt Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vamt Motors, Walkers Road.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I have 2 individuals who are no strangers to For the Record, and especially at this time of the year, it is really great to have them in the studio with us. We will be, talking about the National Day of Preparedness. The focus will be on that, and we will be talking about some of the outreach programs that we have going on to prepare us for hurricane season and other hazards as well. That conversation, folks, will take place with the Director of the National Weather Service in the Cayman Islands, Mr. John Tibbetts, and the Director of Hazard Management in the Cayman Islands, Ms. Danielle Coleman. Folks, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. Great to be here and great to have all you listeners out there listening in about hurricane preparedness.
Okay.
Good morning and welcome.
It's that time of year again.
Yes, it is. It certainly is. It certainly is. So maybe we'll talk first about what the forecast is for the hurricane season. And, the last few years we've been hearing, these seasons tend to be more and more active, as well. Certainly it appears as if climate change is really having an impact. We had the opportunity of having Dr. Ralph Chammy, a financial economist, on the show last week, talking about biodiversity and things of that nature. And it seems as if the 2050 dateline now is somewhere around 2030, 2040 instead. So, Mr. Tibbetts, what's the forecast for this season?
Well, good morning again. The forecast for this hurricane season is for 19 named storms, 9 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes. The drivers for it are not necessarily climate change per se, but we have a tendency when they're doing seasonal predictions, and they look at the El Nino La Nina cycle and the temperatures of the Atlantic Basin. And currently, right now, we are expecting a neutral El Nino La Nina cycle, which isn't bad for you as a La Nina would do, but it isn't good for you either. Therefore, you've got a lot of storms still. The other thing is that you've got a warm Atlantic Ocean temperatures right now. So between the two of them, we are expecting an above-average season. I know that the Hurricane Committee has recently met and had a lot of discussions on this. And there's been a push at times for extending the hurricane season, for example, because when we look, we see storms now forming in May and what have you. And while there's been no support for expanding the hurricane season, the National Hurricane Center operates what we call an Outlook type product. And normally what you'd see is that the storms would show up on the Outlook product before you actually get in the storm bulletins. And they normally that Outlook product would start June the 1st, but they're going to start it from about May the 15th this year. And they did that last year as well, and just to monitor for any early season storms or what have you.
Okay. Ms. Danielle.
I mean, I think we've seen in the last couple of years that storms do happen before the 1st of June. And again, climate change or not, I mean, I'm a massive believer in climate change and the impact of, rapid intensification of storms that we've seen in the past. But you only have to look at last 3 years to see there has been a significant number of some very, very strong storms. And whilst we've been very, very lucky in the Cayman Islands, we've seen from our neighbours in the region, both Dorian in Bahamas, and also last year with Ida, there's some significant impacts happening. So I think we've got to be really wary about whether it's the high season or low season. It doesn't really matter. It's that one storm that catches you that, despite being such a small islands plural, one impact can have a significant impact on all of our lives. Mm-hmm. So just making sure everyone's ready and as best prepared as they possibly can be is so important.
Yes. Now, can we talk about some of the activities that are taking place in terms of our preparedness?
Yeah, I mean, this time of year, obviously, we really do ramp up to make sure that the public are ready. We've got it's National Day of Preparedness. Say National Day. There's no such thing as Day of Preparedness. It's a lifetime of preparedness, actually. But May, we do go out quite a lot in the different DIY shops. So on the 21st of May, we're in A.L. Thompson in the morning and Kirk's Home Centre in the afternoon. And on the 28th, we're in Costules in the morning and Uncle Bill's in the afternoon. And that's basically a time when anyone can come up and come and speak to us about their homes, about their preparedness. We can assist with everyone's homes are slightly different and their businesses are different. So let us help you sort of really identify your main specific risks in your own households. Again, people have different, we talk about supply kits, but everyone's supply kits looks different. Yes, there's key objects that you should all have. But of course, everyone's needs are different. If you have specific needs, be it medication, be it or whatever, you might have kids, pets, and so forth. You really need to tailor those lists and those plans towards your own household to make sure that you are ready. There is nothing worse than having middle of the hurricane, Cat 5 hurricane, and you've got in the aftermath, and you haven't got the supplies that you need that are actually fitting for you. I always talk about my hurricane kit. I've got a can of tuna in there. There's no way I would ever eat tuna, even if I was absolutely starving. So I've got to be a bit more realistic and realise that actually, I do want things that are actually, I like to eat and so forth. So just being realistic and making sure that you are tailoring it to your own family needs, and also doing it with the family. I mean, one of the scariest things I think for kids is to, hurricanes coming, you watch your parents, panicking and so forth. As long as the kids are involved in the whole process from the planning phase way before the hurricane arrives, it's much better for their mental health. So I think making sure the family work together on those plans is really, really critical.
Okay. Now, we've seen increase in the number of arrivals of migrants into the Cayman Islands. We also know that part of the housing for them, we use some of our hurricane shelters, and this no doubt would impact our capacity if they still have to be sheltered there. As far as shelter capacity is concerned, we know that there was a church in Bordentown that was being prepared. Has that been concluded yet, or where are we at with that?
Yeah, just to give you a bit of a context, yes, we Hazard Management's working very closely with CBC and other stakeholders on the migration of incoming Cubans right now. We're opening a shelter this morning for them. Obviously there's a bigger plan in place, so not to deplete the entire shelter stock in the Cayman Islands. And we're currently at 11% of the shelter of population we can shelter in Cayman. The Bordentown Church of God is very much on its way, but it won't be ready until a bit later on in the season. So it certainly wouldn't be ready for June 1st. But at the same time, we're also working John Gray High School. Should be ready at some point this year as well. So we're hoping to increase that number quite significantly. But as a result, again, it's just a reminder. Public shelters are not the most comfortable places in the world.
Yes.
If you do have other options, obviously don't stay in a house that's not safe. If you're living on the coast, for example, in a one bedroom or one story, it's not the best place to be. But there are other options. I mean, for example, you might have friends who live in an apartment complex or a house that has a double story. You may also work in a company that will open the doors for you and make sure that you're safe as a part of the employee contract. We do strongly encourage businesses to do so. And one of the things that we do at Hazard Management is train up shelter management teams or personnel in different big corporate companies as to how they can manage their staff coming in. So at least they're taking away from the burden on the public shelters. And again, those places are much more comfortable. The average accountancy firm or law firm or business of some sort is much more comfortable than most of our public shelters. So we'd strongly advise all the public to look at their shelter options, but consider, if you can, private sheltering.
Mm-hmm. Now, is there a international or even regional acceptable level or ratio in terms of shelter availability to the size of the population? You spoke about 11%.
Yeah, we're actually pretty high in the Cayman Islands. I mean, it sounds like a low number. My aim is really, Hazard Management, is to get to about 20-25%, ideally speaking. But bearing in mind that a lot of our shelters are planned throughout the whole year, so we have a very strict criteria as to what makes a shelter. And we also, again, don't have these sort of pop-up shelters. A lot of countries in the region have these pop-up ad hoc shelters that just happen a day or two before a storm because there's nowhere else to go. I know Bermuda, for example, only have one shelter. And that caters, I think, for a couple of hundred people. So we're not actually in a bad position in the Cayman Islands. In fact, we're in a pretty good position, albeit we'd still strive to get a higher population in those shelters.
Okay. John, anything you want to add to that?
No, I know that I've been around here for years now, so I've been hearing this discussion about shelters for a long, long time. And one of the ways in which shelters have been used or they've came up with some of these shelters is they would use like church facilities or something like that, that is used for another purpose. And then during the hurricane season, there's an agreement in place that if a hurricane is threatening or something like that, that we can use it as a shelter. There are some dynamics there that need to just be make sure that they're ironed out and what have you, that there's a good understanding that, hey, this is your building, but at a certain time, that's for the hurricane disaster plans.
And also training. Again, I think it's one thing having agreements with private entities, but unless you can do the training and have the orientations in those shelters, so the teams that we train up during the year can feel comfortable and know exactly where the registration's going, where the toilets are, they aren't much good. So we do have MOUs in place with a lot of these private buildings that we use as shelters to make sure that training is part of the actual agreement. I think our sort of mindset, Hazard Management, is that we focus on, moving forward, any new public building, that the planning phase will incorporate us as a potential shelter facility, because at the end of the day, it's great to be able to utilise private buildings, But government-owned buildings obviously are much better bang for buck for the government because it can be utilised for civic centres, for schools, whatever the like is. But at the end of the day, we have access to those buildings whenever we need them.
Okay, and then of course you would also encourage those private entities to at least make special accommodations for their staff and their families, and that would, in a way, help to alleviate some of the pressures that are put on shelters as
100%.
well.
And we've trained law firms, we've trained accountancy firms before in the past, basically what supplies they need, but also what training. So we'll train them to become shelter managers, what to look out for, security-wise, food stocks and so forth. And we're really strongly encouraging all corporate companies who have buildings capable of sheltering their employees to consider that, because as a social conscience, social responsibility option. Because again, if you want to keep your employees happy and safe, what better way to utilise it? Make sure they're in their own building, they know their own buildings, they're comfortable in their own buildings, and then you can make sure that their well-being and welfare is looked after.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break, and I know that we're speaking about shelters, and in general terms, you have spoken about that already. One person wanted to know whether or not there are any plans for additional hurricane shelters in West Bay, which is a rapidly growing district again. And I must say that, yes, we at one point in time we saw the population, I know from an electoral standpoint, when you looked at the election rolls, the numbers started to go down, and we started to see a shift towards the eastern districts. But now we're seeing more and more development occurring in West Bay again. So this person wants to know whether or not there are any plans for a shelter there. So when we return from a commercial break, we will have Ms. Danielle answer your question in relation to that. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee in style with a special look here on Saturday, 14th of May.
The Cayman Islands National Museum is hosting a fun interactive event in honor of Her Majesty's 70-year reign.
That's right.
Come along and witness the official reveal of the Miss Annie Huldebutton animatronic. Join the museum at the open-air, family-friendly event on Goring Avenue from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m.
Okay.
Sample delicious local food and sweet treats. Enjoy live performances and take home handwork from local artisans. Enjoy the museum's Queen Jubilee.
Look here.
And see a moving likeness of another great lady. For more details, visit museum.ky.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that one.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, the Director of the National Weather Service in the Cayman Islands, Mr. John Tibbetts, and Director of Hazard Management, Cayman, Ms. Danielle Coleman. We're going to be focusing on the National Day of Preparedness. We're going to want to talk about, I think you may have mentioned it before, the 21st A.L. Thompson.
The 21st A.L. Thompson in the morning, and then the afternoon Kirk's. And then the 28th is Cost You Less in the morning and Uncle Bill's in the afternoon.
Bill's, right, all right, okay.
And basically we're just there to help you. So if you want to pop in and see us, please do so. You can also contact our office and just, ask us send us your plan and we can help you work through the plan. We do have a really good template for those who haven't got an emergency family plan. We can share that with you. It's also on our website at caymanprepared.ky.
Okay, and what about signing up for NENS?
Oh, yes. No, that's an exciting topic. Okay, so this year, again, what's slightly different from previous years, 2 years ago, we introduced phase 1 of the National Emergency Operations Centre. Sorry, I've just been writing NEAC down. The National Emergency Notification System, and that's called NENS, yeah. Mm-hmm. So phase 1 is the radio interrupt, so any large-scale emergency we can breach through the airwaves and override the systems here all around Cayman, so all radio stations. But of course we realise that you're not always going to be listening to the radio at 2 o'clock in the morning. So we do have the NENS, which is the latest phase, which is a sign-up app. Easy to download, again, very, very simple on our website, but it's nens.gov.ky. And basically the idea is very, very 4 very simple steps as to how to download the actual app on your phone. And it'll wake you up very, very loudly in the morning if by chance we have an emergency that's of such great proportion that we need to get your attention as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. This comes as an app, an SMS, as well as an email. So you'll get a notification by each system and you'll have to actually acknowledge it before it'll turn off. So it's not like one of those alarm clocks that you can throw across the room. You really have to do, we're going to get you up whether you like it or not. Of course, you will like it at the end of the day because we're only going to do it if again, it's a really large-scale emergency. We look after that all day long, and then at the after hours, it's 911 that take that on. Mm-hmm. So yes, please download that because we'll be using it during the hurricane season, but the lesser tone, so you won't get the big loud audio unless there's something like a rapid intensification of a storm or something that just pops up out of nowhere. But again, we're not going to be bugging you all day, every day with this loud alert. But if by chance we have an earthquake or a tsunami scare or something that's really big, we will be advising very quickly through this app. And again, you'll get sort of instructions as to what to do. Mm-hmm. So it's a really good thing to do. Again, just visit our website or our Facebook pages and we can work through that. And we've got like a call centre to help you if you have any problems. I mean, I'm technically not very, very savvy. Right? So I'm the first person to put my hands up and say, look, I really actually need help downloading this. And, even I got it in the end. So I think we're really encouraging the public all to download this app. And again, the loud alert will only go off if it's an extreme emergency, but you will be getting notifications throughout the hurricane season if by chance there's something of significance that you need to know about.
Okay. And the question in relation to the West Bay. And then after that, we're going to switch gears and go over to John. Want him to update us on plans for your purpose-built building, your headquarters as well, where we're at, with that.
Okay, so the West Bay shelters, we've done an assessment recently, earlier on this year and late last year, as to what proportionate, it kind of helped with the whole, the census, because we realised, the numbers. I think a lot of us didn't realise the modern town figures these days and so forth. So, we've been quite careful as to how we choose shelters, given the size of each district. We do appreciate there's obviously an increase in West Bay of numbers, and we are working with the current shelters to try and increase that one. In particular, John Gray, John A. Cumber. We are trying and reschedule that and to make sure that different classrooms that haven't been utilised in the past can be utilised in the future. But watch your space. We will be increasing those shelters, hopefully this year. And the plans are very much in place to get that moving as soon as possible.
Okay. John, give us an update on your future home.
Well, we've got a number of things going on first. The first thing that probably will go online will be, first of all, the weather radio for the Cayman Brac and the Sister Islands.
Okay.
We are working on finalizing that now as we speak. So once that's set up, then that'll be definitely a positive step forward. The weather radio that we have here in Grand Cayman does not reach the Sister Islands, and so we had to get a separate weather radio for the Sister Islands, and that's being put in place now. Okay. The second thing that's online right now also, albeit we have limited funding for it, is a network of automatic weather stations around the island. A lot of times, I think when we passed through, a number of the systems passed through the area, a lot of times they question the weather service in terms of, well, how strong was that system? And to figure out what the strength of the system is, it's not, I feel it's a Cat 5, or I feel it's a, Ivan was so strong as a Cat 6. Yeah, well, we need data, and we need observing stations, and we have a plan in place right now that's going to potentially add as much as 6 automatic weather stations across the Cayman Islands, including our first automatic weather stations for both of the Sister Islands, if we can find the funds later on, but the plan is in place right now. Also coming as part of that plan will be some buoys, but I think the buoys will come along later on. Okay. In terms of the National Weather Service building, we're still working through some of the planning phases and approval phases of it. However, we are expecting to start that building somewhere probably in the latter half of the hurricane season, as it were. It'll take about a year to build. So the home is coming, but not quite yet.
Okay, now we're also getting into our rainy season approaching. The level of development in the Cayman Islands, construction, has accelerated tremendously. And of course, with all of the best laid plans in terms of what planning has approved, elevations, drainage, whatever, no one knows really what's going to happen until we actually encounter the particular situation. We know we had a flood mapping plan for the Cayman Islands. Where are we with that?
Okay, so hazard management's been working with a lot of stakeholders on numerous different maps, GIS mapping, so flood mapping. We're also doing a project hopefully this year on flood sensors. So we've identified a couple of high risk communities with, again, our friends at Weather and Environment and a couple of others to do a pilot project in those areas. We know they flood. They know they flood. We just got to find ways to mitigate against that. So that's kind of working. And again, the mapping itself is developing on a daily basis. I think the most important thing, as you say, is there's been a lot of development. You need to know that if that development's next to you, how does that impact your property? I think so much development now is being built up and up and up and up, which is great for them, just not so good for you.
Exactly, yeah.
So if you're staying in an old house that happens to be right next to a brand new development, you've really got to consider the new risks that you have because of that development. And again, take action to ensure that you're not getting flooded out the first available storm that happens this year.
So I think how the flood mapping and warning system would work is that it's a pilot project. So what will end up happening is that we will get weather events that go through, and they will measure, let's say, 2 inches of rainfall in a particular area, and that area will flood. Okay. So we then know at the National Weather Service level that if we forecast 2 inches of rainfall to fall in that particular area, that we're expecting flooding. And so it's a collaboration between two agencies that will collect information, and from the Weather Service's point of view, we will start to, we will work on predicting, putting out predictions for rainfall amounts in more localized type areas. Because of some of the deficiencies that you have with weather modeling and what have you, specifying where exactly 2 inches will fall may be very difficult at times, but it's a step forward in the right direction. It is a part of what we call as impact forecasting and warning system that we at the National Weather Service are also building up, and I think we saw some of the products come out of it in Tropical Storm / Hurricane Grace as it went through the area.
Okay, we're going to take our last commercial break. When we return, several persons have spoken about, food security, and I know that during the hurricane season, you encourage people in terms of what they should store, and we have seen the price of goods, because we basically import everything, increase hugely in the Cayman Islands, and some persons may not now be in a position to sort of like pay forward, to have certain things, and whether or not they're in a guidance that you want to give them, taking into consideration the huge increases that we have seen in terms of imported food. So, folks, when we return, we will get a response from our guests here in the studio. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
The Health Services Authority's new pharmacy is now open at the Smith Road Medical Center. The new location features a large, comfortable waiting area and ticketing system to improve the patient experience. All uncollected prescriptions and refill requests previously submitted will now be available for collection at the Smith Road Pharmacy. Request your refills online at hsa.ky via WhatsApp 925-6532 or call 244-2715. For more information about our pharmacy hours, visit hsa.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning with the Director of the National Weather Service, Mr. John Tibbetts, and Director of Hazard Management, Cayman, Ms. Danielle Coleman. One of our listeners has written and said thanks to HCMI for starting the work on flood planning and hopefully mitigation for stormwater filling of storm water drainage areas. So they want to give kudos to you on the flood mapping. Okay, so food security. Big thing in throughout the world, but here in the Cayman Islands, we know that you encourage people to store certain amount of food, certain types of food. Those costs have increased now. Some people may still be able to afford it. What can we do for those persons who are more vulnerable and can least afford it? We know that, at the end of the hurricane season, so that people can rotate what they have, we may encourage them to donate those foods to certain charities and stuff like that. What advice can you give individual families now in view of the higher costs? associated with food.
I think, you only have to look around the world, as you say, be it fuel prices themselves. The price of fuel around the world has gone up substantially, obviously, because of the Ukraine crisis. But same with food security. We saw food security as well as security of other items during the COVID epidemic or pandemic in 2020 and 2021. It's a very real thing. It's going to get worse. I have no doubt that food security will always be an issue in our lives. So I think it's making sure that you yourself is prepared. I mean, again, I was just talking about our little garden at the back of the house. Growing your own vegetables if you have a little small space that you can do it in. I appreciate not everyone can do it, but again, they taste so much better anyway. But leaving that aside, again, as far as preparedness for the year and the hurricane season, really do have a lot of sympathy given those prices nowadays with sort of large families who are on vulnerabilities and also on these sort of minimum wage and so forth. It's a really difficult position to be in. I think the only words of advice we can give is literally slow and steady. You buy an extra can every week, every shopping trip, a couple of cans a week extra. So it's not a massive hit to your budget. We appreciate when there's a storm coming and everyone's at the supermarkets trying to grab everything. It just becomes, you're not looking at the prices. You're not even concerned about them because you just need the food. If you can do it slowly and just add a bit extra every week, I think it's going to be much better for your own budgets. But again, it's all about that preparedness. But food security is a real issue, but even from a stress level, you don't want to be one of those people shopping at the last minute because it's just such a nightmare. For one's mental health, it really is not very, very good. You're much better having that stock in place. We have a pantry now of tin goods. If times are really difficult, again, there's food banks and so forth. I mean, please do look into that because again, they have supplies. I know we at the end of each rotation from our shelters, we donate some of those items to the food bank. So there's always cans and other items of food there. But again, it's just being prepared, I think, is the main key message there.
Okay. What I'd like you to also do is to renew your call to people when it comes to emergencies and how they should react as far as traffic is concerned, because we see that tendency for everyone wanting to get on the road at the same time. If something happens and all of the schools decide to close, or again renew your words of advice when it comes to, let's say, an earthquake.
An earthquake.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew you were going to go down that road. No, I mean, that's a really key point. We've done a lot more work in the last 2 years with schools coming forward, and we've always done these school sensitization sessions as well as PTA, because again, it's not necessarily the kids that are freaking out, it's obviously the parents, and it's totally human nature to want to get your child when there's an emergency coming, or we just had an earthquake or a big storm's coming. The obvious, we've all seen it, it's much more dangerous if there's been an earthquake. Much more dangerous to get out on the road if there's a tsunami warning coming. It also blocks the emergency services and the critical infrastructure like CEC and water and so forth. So we strongly advise against that. But as I say, in the last 2 years, we've done much more work with each and every school in the Cayman Islands. One, we review all their plans, so their multi-hazard plan, what happens in an earthquake in that specific school. We've also done a lot of work at, going out to each school and actually identifying where their best places of evacuation are. So, rest and behold, that schools are prepared. What I would encourage all parents to do is make sure that they have a plan of the school plan, and perhaps test the teachers. Ask the teachers what the plan is. So make sure that the teacher that looks after your child on a daily basis is very, very aware of what that plan looks like, so they can protect your children. But we really would ask people not to panic and not to run to the school at the first available opportunity, because again, the risk to yourself if there is a tsunami coming could be very, very dangerous. And again, it cuts down all the availability for first responders to get on the road and to save lives. So please make sure that you know what the plan is for your school, and make sure your child does too.
Okay. Mr. Tibbetts, want to give you an opportunity for some closing comments, but before we go there, I'd like you to talk about weather forecasting, the advice that you normally give to people in terms of following your local weather stations. Some of us have a tendency to try to do it ourselves, or to rely on overseas or international advice that is being given. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think when in all my years when I've been going to weather meetings, and whether it's regional hurricane directors and what have you, or large scale and at World Met Organization, they always stress one thing, and that is there's one authoritative voice in the Cayman Islands that must speak to the warnings for the Cayman Islands. Mm-hmm. We at the National Weather Service are very familiar with our area of responsibility, the places that we have to look out, and we tailor our messages for the Cayman Islands with information that perhaps these places from overseas, international sources for meteorology and what have you, do not have or are not familiar with. And the impacts can be life-threatening, to say the least. It's very important to have that one authoritative voice, because you don't want me saying that you have a warning coming and someplace else saying, hey, no warning coming, you don't have nothing to worry about. That's a very dangerous situation to have. Mm-hmm. And so we do preach it, and we try to practice it, and our stakeholders with HMCI and everybody else understand it and push that same message, as it were.
Okay. And any final comments, other than the closing comments?
Just that we have another very strong season coming. Everybody's going to kind of sit on the edge of their seats and wonder when something is going to come. One of the things that came out of the report for the 2021 hurricane season was an increase in the number of systems that had what we call rapid intensification, and that is particularly very, very dangerous for us. We saw that with a few of the storms that threatened our islands and this past hurricane season. Don't be caught unawares. Stay up with your local media and your local sources to keep up with the necessary information you need for when these systems form and when they're going to form a threat, produce a threat to you.
Okay, Danny?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with John. At the end of the day, a tropical storm we saw, Grace, last year caused enormous amount of damage. Don't be fooled by a tropical storm being something that isn't going to impact you. It can. So please make sure your preparedness is as much for a tropical storm as it might be for a hurricane. And again, preparedness is the absolute key. Having your supplies ready to go, having your plan in place for all hazards is going to make your life much easier. And again, we're here to help. So CaymanPrepared.ky. But also, if you want to contact us, just contact us at the office, and we can happily help you plan your own hurricane plan. But also, if your schools, encouraging all schools to reach out if they haven't done so this year. And again, we're here to help make sure that your school is safe. Thank you.
Okay, and we're not removed from COVID.
No,
yet
absolutely
as
not.
Well, so
we've seen some big surges in the last couple of weeks.
Yes, and so we'll need to keep track of the regulations.
Yep.
And of course you have to be mindful of that as well, as far as the numbers of persons are concerned as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, we've opened the last couple of years. We've opened a couple of shelters each storm. So even if it's a tropical storm, there's 5 designed for each. Well, 1 per district is actually assigned to be opened if we need to. And because, we've seen even in Ida, we had 4 or 5 shelters open because there was flooding in certain communities. So, whilst COVID is very much a real thing, it depends what the biggest threat is at the time. If we have a Cat 5 storm barreling down on us, we're not going to be able to practice social distancing. We'll have to make sure masks and other procedures, sanitation and so forth, sanitizer. But at the same time, it's a sort of risk assessment depending on what the actual situation arises at the time.
Okay, and remind them again about the app.
The app is a beautiful app. We encourage everyone to download it. Again, it's neens.gov.ky. It's a really, really simple thing to download. So just email us. We can send you all those instructions. And again, otherwise you can go on our website. And it's all down there, our website and Facebook and Twitter pages. So please download that. Again, you will not be bugged every 10 minutes with there's a small something. But if by chance we have a big emergency, you'll get a very loud, audible alert if there's a much more tame thing happening, maybe like a hurricane coming, but it's not an urgent need for you to do something, we will be sending out notifications, but they won't be loud. It'll just see like a notification of a narrative as opposed to a loud alert. But it really could help save you and your family's lives. So please, please, please download that. And again, we're here to help. So any technological or technical issues, give us a call at Hazard Management.
Okay, I want to thank you both and your organizations for what you do to help to keep the Cayman Islands prepared. Sometimes some people find it difficult having to repeat the same things over and over, but yes, and that's what keeps people alert, by them hearing it over and over and over, and then it becomes so much more familiar as well. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want, or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station. Join Sterling Dwayne Ebanks at 12:15 for Talk Today, and I believe His Excellency will be back on with the Governor as well. I'm not sure if you guys are scheduled on today, but certainly the Governor will be on as well. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands. Folks, please stay safe.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066 and giversplanet.com. Cayman